All right, hello, my friends. Ruben Obed here, transmit from my roof here at GB Music Group Studios in Dorado, Puerto Rico. And the reason for this video is because I want to explain something about solar panels, which sometimes is a little vague, and a lot of times, something pops up which I call the solar ego of certain people, and they say, "Oh, I have a certain amount of solar array, etc." And they exaggerate things. Now, I'm going to tell you what the real world output of solar panels is. All right, look, I'm gonna do it with my system. All right, my system is a 570 watt solar system. All right, it consists of 19 solar panels. Each of them is 30 watts. So 30 times 19 is 570 watts. Now, when a solar panel is not connected, or when it's not connected to a load, it gives about 22 volts. Once you put a load on it, it's going to drop down, right? So a system like this, a 570 watt system under a load in perfect conditions, will give you a voltage of about 17.6, which would be the sun totally facing in, in perfectly ideal conditions, not too hot either. And in theory, 570 watts should generate you 32 amps of current. Okay, now that's under ideal conditions. Now let's go to the reality, the real world of it. This whole system right here, and the majority of solar systems, will only output about 70% of their capacity. Okay, now one of these solar panels, if I measure it, let's say right now in this time of year here in Puerto Rico, out of one panel should be giving me 1.68 amps at 17.6 volts. Okay, that is under ideal circumstances. The reality is they'll only give you about 1.16. Okay, so this system, if you were to do the math on it, would be 570 watts divided by 17.6 volts, which will give you about 32 amps, which is not the reality. Okay, now the reality is that your solar system is going to give you about 70%. So that would be about 570 at 70%. A 570 watt system is actually going to give you about 399 real watts of power. Okay, and from that, your amps would be more like 22. So look at the difference: 22 amps, which is real world, versus ideal, specs, which would be giving me 32 amps, 10 less amps. Okay, now that is the ideal thing. So if you buy a solar system, okay, and they happen to install it on a day where the conditions are the ideal ones, then yeah, you might get the entire, full amount of amperage. But then the next day, if the sun is in another position, if it's hotter outside, you're not going to get the same max output. So when you install a solar system, be prepared to see, out of 100%, be prepared for your system to be producing about 70% of its capacity. You know what I'm saying? And like that, you won't end up frustrated thinking, "Oh God, I got ripped off," or "Is there something wrong with my system?" Real world, 70% efficiency. If you're seeing about 70%, then you're fine. You know what I mean? And from there, yeah, there's gonna be days that it's nice and cool, and the sun will be totally facing the panels, and you'll get a higher, amperage rating. Also, it also depends on the batteries. If your batteries are full, don't expect to see all that amps going through the charge controller. So if you're, the day could be perfect. You could have the sun aligned perfectly and nice and cool and whatever. But if your batteries are full, you're going to see a low current because your charge controller isn't going to be putting out all that energy because it doesn't need it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people complain about low solar output, and I for a long time had the same issue. So, so that being said, guys, out of a 570-watt system like this one is a 12-volt system. I have all these panels running in parallel, and gives me a total of 570 watts of power. And, nominally, under specs, under just plain mathematics and ideal conditions, this system should be putting out a max of 32 amps, which it's not going to put out. In the real world, it'll be 70%, and expect your system to be putting at least, 21 to 22 amps. That's more realistic. And I tell you this so you won't get frustrated with your system and think there's something wrong with it. Also, tilt angle has a lot to do with it. It's generally understood that people in North America should have their solar panels facing south. In my case, I'm in Puerto Rico, and during the summer, for some reason, the sun is more towards the north in this area, and then in the winter, it's more towards the south. So right now, if you see, my panels are facing north because for my particular geographic location, it just ended up working out that way. But now that it's in more winter time, the sun, if you see, is facing more towards the south, but I'm still getting a really really good charge on it. So I've left them facing north. But see, the way I have it set up, I can easily just put them on the other side of those concrete blocks, and they'll be facing south. But they're working fine for now, and I'm just gonna leave them like that. What else do I want to mention? I do want to mention is that the sun sometimes, you're not going to get the 22 amps, continuously either. You have the clouds, you have other factors. Sometimes if your panels are dirty, that'll bring down, your current a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you could be getting less than 70% from your solar system. So solar it's great. What I would recommend is try to oversize your system as much as you can, to mitigate losses due to environmental, to the sun, to clouds, to all of that. The more panels you have, the better, guys. So, but this is my 570-watt solar system. These panels in particular are identical to the ones sold by Renogy. Each panel, these panels are made by a company called Mighty Max Solar. You can find them on eBay. And these panels, in particular, 30-watt monocrystalline panels, are selling for $37.95 a piece. They're really good tempered glass, aluminum, nice good cabling. They're really good panels, guys. And Renogy has this same exact panel for $70 plus another $30 for shipping. Mighty Max Solar gives you these panels for $37.95 plus free priority shipping. You cannot beat that. So I'm a big fan of Mighty Max solar panels. These Mighty Max solar panels are excellent, guys. They also sell, batteries, and they also sell 100-watt panels as well, and inverters. So you might want to check them out online. So that's basically it, guys. Like I said, this system is 570 watts. I'm running from the combiner box. From then on, I'm running 10 gauge cable, which is good for 30 amps. My charge controller is an EP Ever charge controller, and that charge controller puts out 30 amps. So even if this were to put out the 32 amps completely, my charge controller is limited to 30 amps, so it'll lower it and only put out as much as the charge controller limit is. So, guys, yeah, if you have any questions, if you like my system, if you don't like my system, whatever, write your comments and let me know what you think. And but like I said, this is a really good deal. Really good deal. Mighty Max solar panels. You can find them on eBay. They're based in Edison, New Jersey, and let me see what else. I don't know if I've missed anything, but that's pretty much it, guys. So that's the real world. So expect at least a 70% output from whatever solar system you have, and you pretty much won't go wrong with that. About 70%. You know, don't expect 100% output, guys. Really, seriously, you know, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. I already did. It drove me crazy. I was like, why are my panels? Why aren't they putting out what they're rated for? And let me tell you, no solar panel is gonna put out what they're rated for. It's like cars. It's almost 32 miles per gallon. Yeah, under ideal conditions. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you like this video. Take care. God bless. And this is Ruben Obed transmitting live from GB Music Group Studios here in Dorado, Puerto Rico. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.